So the Promised Land series is about 3/4 of the way through filming, and they're doing some really cool stuff. In the last 2 weeks, they've obviously trekked through the desert. They've been talking about a lot of these different areas that they've been filming and shooting a bunch of different scenes, some of which I think you're really going to be surprised about whenever this season comes out next year. Now, they've also talked about some really significant biblical things when it comes to this season in particular. And of course, we're going to get the introduction of not only the 10 Commandments, which we've already kind of seen the behind the scenes, but also the golden calf, which is in this episode as well. So let's jump into this. I've got some biblical stuff we're going to jump into as well. And yeah, here we go. Let's jump into weeks 3 and 4, I believe, of the Promised Land series. Here we go. Music is low here because they're playing the Prince of Egypt soundtrack in the background. Of course, don't want to get copyright claimed by that, but I'm glad they're referencing it. Prince of Egypt obviously is the #1 kind of show about Moses and his life before this one. So we'll see about that.
Day 12, we are here in our camp. We have all kinds of scenes that take place in part of our Israelite camp. We have a ton of background, we have a ton of tents. We also have a lot of cool scenes with Bezalel, the chief architect of the tabernacle. Some scenes between him and Moses, some scenes between him and Aaron, some really interesting stuff that we're filming today.
So we'll talk about Bezalel in just a second. We see him in a couple of different chapters of Exodus. We'll pull him up in just a second, but he is a really interesting character.
Can't wait for you to see it.
All right, Majid says 5'10", willing to shave. Okay, thank you. Let's go.
That's day 12. We started the day with an awesome interview with Majid and Wasim, and we had a great time with Bezalel.
If you don't know who she is, by the way, I know you guys are probably like unaware of a lot of the crew and people who are involved in this. The majority of them are coming from the chosen sphere, kind of the chosen world. However, she, I believe, is married to and part of the studio that, she's not married to the studio. She's married to the guy and part of the founders of the studio, which is backing the Promised Land series. Unlike The Chosen, this is not backed by, for example, Come and See or by kind of fan donations. Obviously, they didn't have a fan base before they really started the show. And so there's actually a studio and investors and different people that are backing this. So her and her husband are the founders of said studio, which is blanking in my mind right now. I'll put it up on screen somewhere. But yeah, so that's who she is here, I believe. Mrs. Johns, I think. If I'm wrong about that, I'm so sorry. But I think that's who this is here.
Day 12. We started the day with an awesome interview with Majid and Wasim, and we had a great time with Bezalel and Lydia filming a really impactful scene that I think you're going to love. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for day 13.
All right, so they do a lot of these EPKs or electronic press kits over the last few weeks. Basically what this is, is the actors or the director or the studio people basically just giving their thoughts on the season and getting stuff that they could use for ads, for people to understand what the series is about, all that kind of stuff. So that's what they're doing here. And we're going to see a lot of that.
What you're hoping from season 1?
Yeah, from season 1, I can't wait for people to get to see... I think I just saw the boys. Give me just a second here. Guys!
So he's making a joke about the boys there. The boys being Moses' sons. It's an inside joke during the show, which you can go watch the pilot over on their channel right now if you'd like. Basically, it's an inside joke, running inside joke throughout the show that you never see the boys, although they're mentioned all the time about like, hey, have you seen the boys? Oh yeah, they were just over there, but you never actually see them on camera, which is funny. Here we've got Shireen Khan, who plays Miriam. You might remember her from The Chosen if you remember season 4, which is she plays Herodias there. So again, another EPK here. Here is Richie Johns, who is the husband of the woman I was talking about earlier, I think. If I'm wrong about that, so sorry. But I'm pretty sure that's correct. Boom, Bethany Johns. Okay, I was right about that. So yeah, they're a married couple who run the studio kind of behind the Promised Land series. So some ladies learning how to spin yarn here. And there's all the yarn there. Very cool. It's cool to have a lot of these authentic, like, kind of moments here. Really, really cool.
Help!
I think that's Joshua, but I can't tell from this angle. It's either Joshua or Korah or maybe even Bezalel. I can't really see from this angle. But obviously, we're going to get some interesting moments there.
That's how you're keeping warm today?
So day 15, it started to get a bit colder on set. Of course, they're in the desert, so you're going to have really, really hot days. And then, of course, you're in Utah, so it's going to get colder and colder as well. Before we jump any further, let's actually jump into scripture and talk about Bezalel and who he is. So here we see Bezalel in Exodus 31. We also see him in 35 and a couple other places. But here in 31, the Lord said to Moses, "See, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. And I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with the ability, intelligence, and wisdom, and all craftsmanship to devise artistic designs, to work in gold and silver and bronze, in cutting stones for setting, and in carving wood, to work in every craft." So this is a person who is blessed by God in order to do what he does. Now later we see basically this same thing repeated in Exodus 35. "See, the Lord has called by name Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, in the tribe of Judah, and he has filled him with the Spirit of God, Holy Spirit, with skill, with intelligence, with knowledge, and with all craftsmanship to devise artistic designs, to work in gold and silver and bronze, and cutting stones for setting, blah, blah, blah," right? So he is someone that is extremely talented, someone that has been called by name to be the builder, the architect, the craftsman of the tabernacle, which is really, really interesting. Season 1, obviously, some of the major story beats that we're going to have is the 10 Commandments, which of course is a massive, massive deal. We're also going to have the golden calf. So as Moses comes down, they're going to be worshiping the golden calf. We're also going to have the tabernacle. The construction of the tabernacle is quintessential for the early people of Israel, right? This is the place where they worship God, where the presence of God dwells. It's the precursor to the temple. This is the most important area that the Israelites have, right? And this is what they would do. They would take this with them. It was their mobile temple, essentially, where they would set it up and tear it down, and it would be able to be put up and put down wherever they went. So the craftsmanship behind it was very important, seeing as it was the most important location of wherever they were, right? And so we see that there. Hey, real quick, if you really want to see us make more content on this channel, the best way to do that is through our Patreon at snipesupport.com. So you can go to that in the link down in the description down below, and you can pledge $5, $10, or $25, and you can cancel at any time. So we would really love to have you over there. We actually post a lot of extra content, including special things that I'm doing during the week. For example, this last week I met with Dallas, and I was able to do some other content that's going to be coming out soon. So if you want to learn more about that, go over to our Patreon, and you can see all those behind the scenes posts and see what's going on in my life throughout the week, not just during these videos. So anyway, thank you guys so much for your support. You guys are amazing. Let's get back to the video.
Welcome to day 13. Yeah, today's gonna be a lot of fun. We have stunts. We have 2 stunts, actually. We have some kids playing soccer with Moses, and we have a guy falling into a pit. We also have a lot of different scenes around our camp today. People interacting, building tents, walking around, and there's even a really cool scene between Moses and Bezalel.
So the earlier when we heard the character screaming, either Bezalel or Joshua, I wasn't exactly sure who that was. That person's most likely going to be the person falling into the pit, and that's the noise that they made whenever they're falling into the pit. So that makes a lot of sense there.
Can't wait for you to see. Check it out.
That's day 13, which means we are halfway through week 3 of season 1 of The Promised Land. We had a great chat with Shireen and Trifina earlier this morning, and we got to see some pretty epic stunts. All right, maybe they weren't epic, but they were pretty funny. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for day 14.
Day 14, we are back at the women's tent today. We've got a lot of fun scenes today.
Is that Chasisi in the women's tent? Chasisi, if you don't know, if you haven't watched the pilot, he is an Egyptian who got washed up on the wrong side of the Red Sea. And so he is trying to hide out basically in the Hebrew tents and culture. He's kind of learning a lot for sure. Trying not to get killed by them.
Between Miriam and Zipporah, as well as a few new characters who are part of the women's circle. We're also going to shoot a scene later on today that will involve Aaron and Joshua walking through the wilderness together. And it should be pretty fun. I'm excited for it. Check it out.
And that's what the stick should represent.
If you remember him as well, this is the same actor who plays the lawyer from season 4 of The Chosen in Lazarus' house with the sisters. After Lazarus dies and we see him come to kind of execute the will. So same character there. Well, not same character, but the same actor there. Here he's playing Aaron, the brother of Moses, which is a great role there.
Is knowing everything. Doesn't know anything. Knows everything.
And that's a wrap on day 14.
Aaron, of course, does not know everything. He's about to get in some huge trouble with the golden calf. So for sure, he doesn't know everything.
Here at Sheep Bridge, we had a great day. Spent some time in the women's tent with Chasisi and some of our new characters. They were spinning yarn and talking. We're excited for you to see those scenes. We also had a great time interviewing our producing team for all of our behind-the-scenes footage. You'll be seeing that here shortly as well. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for our midway point for season 1.
Welcome to day 15. It is freezing. We've got incredibly cold weather conditions today that came in overnight. We have high winds all day long. This is going to be one of those days that if we pull it off, I think we're going to feel incredibly proud of our work. And if we don't, we tried our best. It's difficult.
It's got to be really hard, right? Logistically, being in the desert, having to deal with things like simple things like water or power for your equipment that you're going to have all day long. How do you power all your cameras, all your lights, all your mics? How do you do all that stuff when you're in the middle of the desert? It makes it a little bit more difficult than being like on the set, for example, for The Chosen or something else. Being on location is got to be really, really difficult. On top of that, having to deal with weather all the time. I'm sure this is why The Chosen creates their own sets so often, because it makes it a lot more manageable and a lot more predictable when it comes to what you can do and what you should do, how you plan these days out. I was actually talking with Mitch recently, and he was talking about how they have to change things so often on set and how they have to kind of move things around. And he's dealing with all this stuff for the first time as a director, right? In this capacity here for this big show. And so it's really interesting to hear that from him. Maybe we'll do an interview with Mitch at some point. It'd be really cool to hear his thoughts on how it's different from The Chosen, or how he is kind of moving into his role as both a writer and a director and a producer, right? He's doing some stuff that is much different on this show than he's done before. So maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have him on and just have him talk about some of this stuff that's interesting to me, at least. So maybe it's interesting to you. Also, real quick before we continue, I'm also going to be on set for the Promised Land series in just a few days. So by the time you're watching this video, I might already be on set. I'm not 100% sure yet when this video is going to go out. But I will be on set later this week, helping out with what they call the tabernacle, which of course is going to be the building of the tabernacle and everybody coming in to kind of be a part of the Israelite people during this time. So it should be a lot of fun to hang out there and to do all that. So keep me in your prayers for sure for travel and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully it's not too cold. Hopefully it's not too hot. We'll have to see when we get over there in Utah, but it's going to be a ton of fun. So keep an eye out for other content around on the community tab or different things on YouTube for when I'm over there. Also, if you want to see more behind the scenes stuff, I'll share a ton more over on Patreon. It's just easier for me to like share stuff over there. So if you do want to see that, $5, $10, $15 or $25 a month, you can go over to Patreon and sign up over there. It really, really, really helps us out. But anyway, so let's continue on with this.
Go for the actors. So in between takes, we're going to be warming them and trying to give them as many chances to rest as we can, just because today is going to be incredibly challenging to pull off. But if any crew can do it, this crew can.
Probably my fault. I'm from Canada and I said I like it colder, and then this came in. Sorry, guys.
Wow. How dare you?
Okay, that's it for day 15. We are finally halfway through season 1 of The Promised Land. It was a great day. I'm very proud of us. Halfway.
Halfway done.
Halfway done.
So halfway done, pretty quick there. This show is being shot in 30 days. That's less than half of the time The Chosen normally has to do any of their seasons. And so doing a whole entire season, well, 7 episodes, I think, in 30 days is pretty intense for sure.
Good morning, everyone. It is day 17 of production. I'm on my way to set. Let me know what you want to see today. I'll try to make it happen.
I told them I wanted to see the golden calf, and they didn't show me it. So luckily, we got some sleuthing to do, and luckily they didn't blur it out all the way. So we're going to check that out in a little bit as well. So there is some background actors that are currently on set, or that have been on set the last couple weeks, or parts of the last couple weeks. There are obviously paid extras that come, and then the situation that I'm going in is just a volunteer situation to go in and to be part of a bigger group that is needed for the tabernacle scenes. Got a Roadrunner on set.
We can't hear you.
3 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
Again, this is the same woman who plays Herodias. When someone says, "I can't hear you," she screams, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. New meme for sure. I think that's great there. We got some magic from some of the content creation team here. Wow, amazing. We got Moses. This is from the pilot episode. You'll get that joke if you watch that. Chasisi there. Then we got Moses and Korra. Korra is, I think, going to be one of the most interesting characters for me personally, because we kind of know what happens to him later on. And of course we know what happens to all of them, but Korra in specific obviously is going to have a lot of character development and things that happen with him to really truthfully make him a villain in a comedic show. So I wonder how that's going to play out. Came here to do social media, and now I'm in a costume. So the social media guy got pulled in to do some background stuff. Quite funny there.
Good morning. Welcome to day 16. We are back at Sheepbridge, which is not what we expected. We had to make some kind of last-minute adjustments due to some location concerns that we had. That's kind of what happens with films. Sometimes you just have to roll with the punches and figure out what you're going to do as you're doing it. But we have some cool scenes that we're doing today. We have some scenes around a well.
We are at the well.
All right.
So you could say that the shoot is well on its way.
We also, because Friday was so...
I wonder if that's going to be tied to some other things like Jacob's Well or different things like that. It'll be interesting to see if that's the case. I don't know.
Cold and windy, we didn't get to finish all of the Chasisi interviews we were going to shoot that day.
So this is what's going to be really unique about this show, is that a lot of these characters have interview moments, so you get to kind of see into their minds about what they're thinking and how they're going about different things. This, of course, is much different than The Chosen, where you don't have these moments when you have kind of these short moments to kind of talk about what these people are thinking or dive into those things. In this show, obviously, it's more like The Office or Parks and Rec. It's more that style of filmmaking, which is, I think, going to be a really interesting perspective into a biblical narrative and having us understand that in a different way.
So today we get to pick those up and shoot those with Dav today. Should be a lot of fun.
So that's officially a wrap on day 16 of production. Yeah. Oh, my bad, dude. Sorry. That's a wrap on day 16 of production. We're more than halfway through, and we are so excited to show you a lot more coming. Stay tuned. By the way, I miss you, Ben.
That's the other content guy that was with him before. Now I guess he's not there anymore.
All right.
at least for now.
Morning. Welcome to day 17. If it feels like deja vu, it's because we are back at Pioneer Park, which is the location we were at for our first week. This was not the original plan. We actually had a couple kind of issues and some things fall through with one of our locations this week. So we pivoted, and now we're here at Pioneer Park for today and tomorrow. We're going to be back at the base of the mountain, shooting some scenes there. We're also tomorrow going to be shooting our golden calf sequence. So today we're kind of preparing for that.
That's interesting too for me. Like, so I get it from the crew point of view, like the assistant director and the director have to kind of move around scheduling. They have to move around these different things in order to make it fit in the way that they need it to. However, also, like the actors have to adjust to that as well, right? So the actors have to get their lines ready for a scene they might not have been prepared to do ahead of time. Maybe they were told they were going to do scene A the next day, but then they actually have to do scene D the next day. And so they have to change their perspective totally. They have to change the way that they're going into it. Maybe there's something that there's like a long monologue they would have had on this day that now has gotten moved to another day, et cetera, et cetera. So it's got to be difficult on them too, right? Not just on the crew.
Got Cass walking up right now, so I think it's time for me to go. Boys.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Got Joshua and Moses there.
All right, bye.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, that's a wrap on day 17. Thank you so much.
That's my job. Thank you so much. That's a wrap on day 17. We were so excited to have you here. We had a big background presence, 100 backgrounds, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 18. Bye.
Yeah, you can just tell overall the atmosphere of the show. I think one, because it's brand new, and I think two, because it's a satire, that the atmosphere of the show is like definitely way more jokey and all of the content surrounding it and different things like that. Whereas on The Chosen, you tend to get a lot more serious moments from the behind the scenes stuff in general. Obviously, they still joke around. They still have a lot of fun on The Chosen set as well. So here's the blur of the golden calf. We're going to get a little bit of this later. We'll get to see some of the golden calf as well. But you're going to see all these people just worshiping the golden calf, which is quite interesting. Here's Moses teaching the law here. We're going to hear about that in a second as well.
Day 18. We're in our last day for now at Pioneer Park. Today we are shooting our golden calf sequence.
So they blurred it out here, but we're going to actually see it later, which is so funny to me.
It's going to be intense. This is one of those sequences that we're not making that many.
So there it is there.
Jokes.
We're going to get a better shot of it, though. It almost looks like the Ark of the Covenant in a lot of ways, which is interesting.
There are, of course, jokes in keeping with the style of our show, but this is a pretty serious moment for the characters. And
so you see it again there. Again, we're going to get a little bit better shot of it a little bit later on. But you can see here, there's kind of like the poles that are sticking out on either side. You kind of have this box formation. It looks very much like the Ark. I don't know if we know at all what the golden calf would have looked like, how big it would have been. I have always envisioned the golden calf much bigger than this, that it would have been something that they actually surrounded. Maybe that's just because of some imagery I was shown as a child or something, but to me, I've always envisioned this much, much, much bigger because they had a ton of gold that came from Egypt. They took all their gold on the way out, basically. They like pillaged them. They were kind of told to do so. So anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, not exactly how I imagined it, which is quite interesting. I do wonder what the thought process is behind the green and gold feathers and all that kind of stuff. Wonder what the thought process was.
So we're going to be shooting it and taking it very seriously on set as well. We're going to get to see some interesting character dynamics today.
So here we see, I think this is probably the best shot we get of the golden calf. So we see here the box with the arms on either side. We see the small kind of, cow in the middle, and I'll just kind of make it big for you guys to see. So you see this small kind of calf here, and then we see it has like some sort of ornate stuff kind of coming off of it, maybe like a feathered crown here. Yeah, it looks quite interesting. I just don't know like what where this came from. I wonder historically what they pulled from in order to get this. Yeah. And that's Moses passing by with the 10 Commandments, by the way. So you see his 10 Commandments here. as he's looking over at the golden calf and wondering what is going on right now. So this scene is actually, I think, going to be way less funny. I think it's going to be way more intense, and how Moses is going to react. Because again, while this show is supposed to be satire, it's supposed to be funny, there are going to be moments in this show that are extremely serious. Just like in The Office, right? There's a ton of moments in The Office that are just hilarious and funny, but the best parts of The Office are actually when the heart comes through. And when it becomes very serious, right? We have this relationship between Jim and Pam. Here it's going to be Moses scolding the people that I think are worshiping the golden calf, right? And what does that look like? Obviously, we see it in scripture, which I'm sure they've pulled from extensively. But yeah, there's some hard moments here.
We're going to get to see what it looks like when the people of Israel have a bad day and when they make a big mistake. And then in the future episodes, we'll see how they rebuild from this mistake. But it all starts here. Check it out.
You ready for today? Absolutely. I'm just ready for the beard. This is what I'm ready for.
So that's a wrap on day 18. Today, I got to be a part of the background. And we partied. Yay! And then we got yelled at by Moses. See you tomorrow for day 19.
Welcome to day 19. We are here in Snow Canyon, which is new for you. You haven't seen it.
Okay, I have to point something out real fast. Remember this shirt right here? First of all, cool jacket, Mitch. He's wearing the Chosen Season 5 jacket. Very, very cool. Very nice. He's wearing this, is this a sweatshirt that he's wearing, or is this a shirt? I guess it's a sweatshirt, so I'll give him some leeway. He wears this 2 days in a row. So I was like, did he wear the same shirt 2 days in a row? Or is this some camera trickery? That's what I was thinking. But actually, I think it's a sweatshirt. So it's less weird that he wore it 2 days in a row. I'll give him a pass on it.
On the Scouts, yeah. It's very beautiful. And we are going to be filming today Moses teaching the chiefs the law, and we're calling it Law School.
When he's teaching them the law, does that mean the 10 Commandments, or is that something else? I assume it means the 10 Commandments there.
Should be pretty fun. It's going to be a more lighthearted day overall compared to yesterday, when we were filming the Golden Calf, which is, of course, a much more kind of emotional, difficult sequence for the characters. Today is fun and light and jokey and should be a lot of fun, so check it out.
So that's a wrap on day 19. We had Moses teaching the law to the people of Israel. And actually, pop quiz.
How many people did I order to get killed after I discovered the calf?
Let me know in the comments down below. How many people did Moses order to get killed after the discovery of the calf? Pretty scary.
Drop it in the comments below. See you tomorrow.
We got day 20 of 30, so only 10 days left. This is day 20, which was, I believe, just a couple of days ago.
Welcome to day 20. After today,
So there he's wearing the same sweatshirt again. So I thought originally it was a shirt. Mitch, I'm going to let you pass on this one. I mean, you should have some variety, you know?
we are 2/3 of the way through.
Says the guy who wears the exact same shirt every single day. Sorry, I forgive you entirely, actually.
Season 1 of The Promised Land. This is our last day here at Snow Canyon. If things look familiar, it's because we're using a lot of our elements from the pilot for this first thing that we're doing. What we're actually about to shoot is going to be the first scene of episode 2. It's going to be a lot of fun. Later on today, we have some more interviews we get to shoot, and then that will wrap out this whole location, and we'll move to one of our final locations, which will be Warner Valley, and that will be next week, where we start to set up for the tabernacle.
This is interesting too, because they use a lot of the Chosen stuff. So like a lot of these tents, a lot of the costuming, a lot of different stuff like that. I'm sure some of it is their own, but a lot of it is actually from the Chosen's art department, like their set department. And so the Chosen has allowed them to use a lot of these different things, especially for the pilot. But I'm sure a lot of the stuff even here, they're letting them use, which is very cool. Very cool of them to do, for sure.
Check it out.
I don't know what to share.
So much sand.
So that's a wrap on day 20. It is also the wrap of week 4. We had an incredible week full of so many surprises. But we'll see you next week.
Who's running in the background? Anyway, that's pretty much the end of that. We got some really interesting things, Golden Calf, 10 Commandments. There's a lot of stuff coming up in the show itself. I will hopefully be able to get some behind the scenes sort of content as I am going to be in Utah this week. So keep an eye out, definitely on Patreon if you're over there, but on the channel as well. I'm sure there's something will be posted about something over there. So we should have a ton of fun. It's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to just hanging out with those guys and seeing what's going on the set. Really looking forward to having another show coming out next year. And of course, it's going to kind of repeat every year as they shoot kind of right after The Chosen is done and then go on to the next season. So overall, what we've been told about this series is that it's going to have 40 episodes. So 40 days, 40 nights, right? That makes a lot of, or 40 years, I mean. That makes a lot of sense. And then also they're going to have a feature-length movie at the end of it, I think. So that's kind of the whole grand idea for this series as a whole. And so we'll see how that plays out over time. Really looking forward to the rest of this season and into the future of what the Promised Land holds. I know a lot of people are really excited about this show, me included. So ton of stuff to come. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And keep an eye out for more content coming very soon. We'll see you on the next one.